If you play a sport and you have problems with tendon pain, then this podcast is for you. We have coached over the years lots and lots of basketball players and volleyball players, and specifically that have knee pain. And we've gotten really good at getting them healthy. Some of the tough cases we've worked with have been in the middle of a season. So you have these a-hole coaches forcing them to practice too much every single day. And it's really hard to manage that with, having tendon pain. But something else we found is you can actually use basketball or playing a sport to help you get back to jumping. So we're gonna go super in depth on that. Before we jump into it, I just wanted to remind you. By the way, my name's Isaiah, 50.5 inch vertical. This man right here has a 40 something inch vertical, and
there's proof on my YouTube. I posted it.
And he got me from a 42 to a 50.5 over the course of the 10 plus years we've been coaching. He's amassed 270 training cycles, something like that. 280, 289.
Better if they're saved. Yeah.
And if you want to get coached by us to jump higher and manage tendon pain, go to thpstrength.com. When you sign up, we're going to give you one of those 289 cycles that we feel best suits your needs. And then after that, you're going to be in a group chat with our team of expert coaches. You can ask them literally anything about jumping in your training. We can make adjustments on the fly, technique analysis, all that good stuff. You get a community, a course. So go to thpstrength.com if you want to check that out. So, John, actually, you asked me. You were like, "What inspired this podcast?"
Yes, so I already have a question. Briefly, I want to say load management means you decrease jumping, start with isometrics, then heavy slow strength, then elastic storage, then you get back into jumping, right? And I've been thinking about this a lot because I've been working with a high-level basketball player, and then I also had a call with Stephen Marr, and we were talking about his play schedule.
Who's Stephen Marr? What does he do?
Stephen Marr is an Olympic Canadian volleyball player who I think his vertical's just under 40. It should be over 40. I think it was 37, but he definitely could jump quite a bit higher. So we were talking about kind of strategic ways to do that because he found that his RFD was low. So he needs to improve his RFD, but he's in season. And I basically told him, you can't do any more RFD work because you're jumping 600 times a week. And there's not really a way to work around that. The system requires him to do it. There's better ways to go about it, but that's, what I think there's better ways to go about it, but that's what is required when you play high level volleyball. So you have to be capable of doing that. And I think that one of the biggest things is for him is just doing isometrics. You can't really add anything squatting wise because it's going to make it worse. You don't want to add load to too much load. And I also told him, like, you're getting 600 contacts, like you're getting RFD work through that. And you adding more is probably not going to be the solution in terms of knee extension. You could be creative with a posterior chain work, talked about it. And that's another way you can load manage when you're in season and you have a very high volume of jump contacts. But this also got me thinking, because you played basketball today, and I've been working with this basketball player who is trying to get back to playing every day. And you dunked probably, 30 times? I don't even know.
Ooh, probably.
It was a lot. It was a lot of dunks.
In a half court setting, mind you, not to toot my own horn.
Not to toot my own horn as a basketball.
As a 6'1" point guard. I got
6'1" point guard dunking on a 3v3, playing against the plumbers at LA Fitness.
Actually, I'm a 6'1" center, not a point guard.
Yeah, you were. You're dunking like Shaq, which was hilarious. But I was thinking, and you left the session feeling better than when, like you basically left feeling better. And it got me thinking, okay, so on one side of the continuum, we have a kid who can't handle jumping off 1 foot at all, at a pretty tall, not a very high threshold for load capacity. And on the other side, and that would make it worse. On the other side of the continuum, we have someone training 3 days a week who's jumping once a week, but doing, really, really high intensity jumps, and then progresses into playing basketball. And my question for you is, do you think you could handle playing basketball every day the way you did today? Like, not ever really take out the max ever jumps, but
If you take out the max effort jumps, I think so. I think the problems. Oh, that's a good question. If I did what I did today without max effort jumping, I think I could handle playing every day. I think the problem would more so be my PFP.
Like your
Would be
cartilage.
more, yeah, the cartilage would be more of an issue than the tendon.
Yeah.
But like
And if you were
tendon,
like a little bit strategic with it,
and if I built into it, like
yeah.
if we went twice a week and 3 times, like if you gave me like a month or two to build into it, I think I could.
Yeah. And I agree. I think that right now it's serving as a really good in between for getting back into elastic contacts, but not necessarily at max effort. And it's not like your knee's bad by any stretch. Like you could go have a session. It's just that I don't want people thinking that you're like ruined beyond repair. It's just when you have a really big session like we did with Billy, you can add a lot of jump volume, and that jump volume and intensity can cause like a little bit of a flare up. So it was not bad by any stretch. For those of you who don't know, all of you listening to this, if you jump regularly under a scan, would have tendinopathy. Every single one of you guys would. And there's good evidence to demonstrate that. It's just that you may be asymptomatic. So when
every NBA player,
yeah,
I would even dare to say every jumping athlete eventually gets it.
yep.
The only time you don't hear about it is if the athlete doesn't talk about it.
Yeah.
That's when you wouldn't hear about it. Like,
but they have
every single
or have
dunker,
had it.
every single dunker or elite athlete that I've talked to and asked has had it at some point. Like,
Yeah. So it's a normal, natural progression that happens as a speed power athlete that jumps. That's just the nature of it. You're going to store and release a lot of energy in the tendon, and yeah, it's normal. So I think why it works in your case is what I want to cover. One is it's a good, very highly variable stimulus that addresses all directions, all velocities of stretch shortening cycles, but the forces are significantly lower than what you would see in an actual dunk session. So, for example, if Isaiah went out and jumped 50 times and tried basically dunks that only 10 people in the world can do, he's going to be jumping really hard and he's going to be loading the living hell out of those tendons. However, if he goes into a basketball game, yeah, maybe he's seeing lateral movements he doesn't usually see, but the amount of force going through the tendon is so much lower that even though he's not used to the direction, even though he's not used to the change of pace and the side to side or front back, or even the high frequency of those jumps, he's still going to pull up basically better than when he left that session because the intensities are just so much lower. But you still get the benefit of getting those low level plyometric contacts where you're storing and releasing energy. You're not exceeding the capacity of the tendon, assuming you cut it at like a good time. And I think that's really for you the benefit. And I think too, there's a little bit of like the fitness side of things where when you have blood lactate go up when you play basketball, you start to get fatigued, you get out of breath. It's correlated with boosts in human growth hormone. And that's one of the things that we oftentimes see in research is human growth hormone peaks when you have really, really high blood lactate levels. The reason why probably stimulates, some sort of hormone production when you have a lot of metabolites in the blood. And then, that can also be really advantageous down the road. And it's like an unintended consequence of kind of doing it. So I always think about that. And then two, I think it's weeps synovial fluid out of the joint. So it can sometimes lubricate the joints a little bit if you warm up into it slowly and you come in at like a pretty good spot. Where it goes wrong, I think, is when guys have that type of play schedule and then they have a massive dunk session or like fast break dunks. I think those are like probably the two worst things that could derail it. But there's a time and place for it. Like, where Dom's at, where Donovan was at, I think it would have fit really, really nicely in that progression. And not that everyone, not that you have to go play basketball, but I think it's a good in between that fills a lot of gaps and can increase the tendon capacity quite a bit.
I do want to give some caveats. One, the reason I think it works for me, it only works if you're disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it helps having John there saying cut it. Like realistically, if I would have been there by myself, like I would have been tempted to keep playing or to jump more at the very end. Um so it does help if I go in with a plan. Like let's say because I did this, when me and John weren't living together, and I would go in like, all right, only playing for an hour, or only 2 games, and then 10 max jumps. Like having strict rules with it helps a lot. And then the second thing, which I don't think they don't think about, is actually like the mental health benefits of being able to do something like that. Like there's a huge difference for me personally, because for background, I grew up playing basketball. It was literally all I would think of nonstop until dunking replaced that. Um, and for me, there's just the like really big benefits to playing, like the
You
actual act of playing.
you
Not as
miss it?
I miss it a lot, like all the time. I literally was telling you like the last couple of weeks, I've been like saying things here and there, like, oh, I want to play really bad, like that type of thing. Um, and it's cool because it knocks two birds with one stone. Like I literally get depressed if I if I go too long without either having a session like the one with Billy, like where I can try new dunks, like because that's what I like about dunking is trying new stuff, um, or playing, and it knocks two birds with one stone because I can have fun playing without destroying my knees. That that is like the worst thing for my mental health. When my health is going like that, like my physical health, my mental health also starts to kind of suffer a little bit.
I felt that a little bit today with my hamstring. I
Yeah,
just was like, I'm not like super excited to do this. I'm going to get in
yeah,
here and do something so it's productive. But
yeah.
you're kind of like,
It's
it's
hard.
not enjoyable. It's not fun.
I mean, I think I'm speaking for you too, but I think we've gotten good at being stoic about it. Like, oh, this hurts. It sucks. I'm not happy about it, but whatever. Keep it pushing. Go
Yeah.
rehab. Go. But there's definitely like when I'm healthy, I'm not having to be stoic about it.
Yeah. It's
Um,
just easier. It's all around a little bit easier.
yeah,
So I think too, it's fatigue constrained. Like like if you're playing a game of 3-on-3 small sided games, you're out of breath. And if you're
oh
out of
yeah,
breath, you're not going to be able to produce as much force. You're also super warm. Like you're not ever, in a position where you're like benched and standing on the side and your tendon's kind of like cooling down and getting brittle and then coming back in. Like the tendon is pretty much always going to be warm. It's always going to be compliant. You're always going to be bouncing around or moving around. And I think there's like a lot of benefit to that. And and I've obviously guys get hurt playing basketball, don't get me wrong, but in your case specifically, or guys that were similar to you, where they're jumpers and they want to do something that's elastic, but maybe it's not, go out and have a session, whether high jumper, long jumper, triple jumper, whatever, volleyball player doing hitting.
keep talking. I'm locking my door.
Oh yeah, lock that
I
door.
hear little kids.
Someone's gonna bust through the door. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of those benefits where it's, again, I love the word unintended consequences. It's like you get all of these kind of good unintended consequences to doing it. And I also think like it does kind of address some of the stuff that we were talking about the other day with the general work, like we brush aside. You do get a cardiorespiratory, stimulus from it. And I think that there's a lot of benefit. You just feel better when you do
I
that.
do. I remember my second caveat.
What was it?
The risk for catastrophic injury goes way up. It goes way up.
Let's talk about some of the catastrophic injuries you've had. What are
I've
the top three?
I've
The
ACL,
ACL.
meniscus. I've tweaked both of them playing basketball. Knock on wood. I luckily, knock on wood, I haven't, like a full on tear. Um, Ankle sprains that have taken me out of being able to jump and play for 2-3
Those
months
are the
at a
most
time.
frustrating for me
Yeah,
as a coach because it's so stupid and it's so
and yeah,
it
and they're
derails
usually
so much.
they've usually been from like players being bad. Like being in your
Or
landing
careless,
space or like, yeah.
just
Um,
carelessness.
yeah. And the way I play too is very aggressive, like kind of reckless.
Yeah.
And
Wait till
so
you
the
guys see
risk,
this
like
video.
even like for me comparing to like your average anybody, my risk is like way higher just because of my play style.
Like you were grabbing rebounds as putback dunks today with people in your landing space so many times. And honestly, I didn't think about it at the time, but looking back, yeah, you were playing with no fear,
You know
which is
what's crazy is
fun.
in my head, I was thinking, don't do stuff to like you could probably see it when I post the video. There was times where I would go for a block and then I'm looking at people's feet to see like where I'm landing. But then like my brain is like, I don't know what's wrong with me, like with risk management, where like
Oh, I've seen
I
it.
thought about it at first and then it just goes away. I don't think about the consequences.
I've seen this guy do it in all facets of life.
Yeah. Cars.
Driving.
Oh baby.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
And I'm like kind of much more aware of it, so it's like very different. It's I don't know if it's learned, if you just have done it so many times where you know it's like a calculated risk and you've learned that it's like okay to take those risks, or if it's something innately inside of you because it transcends basketball. And that
I think
makes
it
me
is an
wonder.
innate. I think it is an innate thing, especially with my like I'm an adrenaline junkie. Like I like, scary movies, the haunted houses, things that are dangerous. Think about the dunks that I try, like the jumping over people backwards, like
Yeah.
driving.
We need some more blind car dunks.
So
Blindfolded car dunks.
there's a little screw. It wasn't screwed all the way in when I was
It's
made.
a little loose. It's a little
Yeah.
loose. Not bad. It's good in this scenario. So take more
Yeah.
risks, people, if you want to be a better athlete. I feel like this is a good place to close it off. If you guys are interested in coaching, go to teachmestrength.com. Be careful when you play basketball. Use it sparingly. And if you're a basketball player,
Be smart and disciplined. Go in with a plan.
and if you're a basketball player in season, don't do performance training. Focus on staying healthy. Just do ISOs.
Mhm.
Ciao.